Hello, hello. We are live. It is right at 12 o'clock. I told you that I would completely honor your time this week. I am trying to keep these chats and discussions to about 30 minutes, just so you know. So I have people joining in Zoom. We are live on Facebook. It would help if I got my camera going. Hey guys, just so we can connect. I love having the camera. I love having that focus with you and that time with you. So same Zoom link as yesterday. So if you were on Facebook and you are not in Zoom, you can join me there. We are going to start talking about the challenges of eating with autoimmune conditions today, specifically with some examples of mast cell challenges as well as challenges with celiac. I'm going to show you how they contradict one another and how important it is for you to develop a personalized plan for success, okay? Through this, I don't want to overwhelm you, and I definitely do not want to complicate the situation or your thought process, but I want to let you know that you are not alone when it comes to these challenges, okay? So yesterday we talked about what are autoimmune conditions? What are some of the top ones that you are dealing with? Put down in the comment section on Facebook or in the chat on Zoom, what it was that you took away, like what did you take away with you yesterday? What was that aha moment for you? I want to share with you that I got an email last night. Okay, so your aha moment may not be like, I can cure this, I can fix this, whatever it is. But I got an email last night from an attendant that was with us yesterday, and she said the one thing that she took away with her was being able to say, thank you, Jesus, for these warning signs. So many times we walk away and we think this is going to destroy our life. It's going to change everything. And it may not even be with yourself, but I will tell you that our entire home has changed our eating habits because we adhere to the strictest individual in our home. So for instance, somebody's not able to eat gluten, somebody's not able to eat dairy, somebody's not able to eat, I'll just tell you, sunflower seeds and sesame seeds can be crazy how they appear in everything. So we have someone in our family that is very, very sensitive to sunflower. And when you get a lot of your gluten alternatives, and especially processed foods, crackers and things that are gluten-free, that sunflower component can just rear its ugly head and appear in everything. But I tell my entire family, you do not know why God has created this change in your home, but we are all going to benefit from it. Okay, I truly believe that, well, I will tell you that since we had to focus on gut health, it changed everybody's irritable bowel, whether it was constipation, whether it was diarrhea, whether it was urgency after eating, whether it was gurgling of the stomach and just gas and bloating and burping. Whatever the signs and symptoms were, do not exist as long as we are eating healthy in our home. Okay, so whatever that may look like for you, I want you to say thank you for these warning signs. Thank you, as it's going to help benefit my entire family. Okay, so we today are going to dig into the focus of navigating dietary challenges, because I am here with you, and that nobody said it was going to be a piece of cake, and that's why we have community to support one another. I've had lots of conversation actually already today with people navigating dietary challenges. The first conversation I had this morning was around a little girl diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and it just makes me want to tear up, to be honest with you. That is an autoimmune condition that, yes, can be managed, but it also always needs to be priority. Okay. And just like with anything, if an allergy is going to send you to the hospital on an anaphylaxis reaction, that's going to have to be a priority. So my heart goes out to those that have these immediate anaphylaxis or always attentive needs around dietary challenges. But then I saw a Facebook story of a client of mine who's little, like two, like just tiny boy, and has just developed amazingly since we met and since we did gut health on just a little one, and up dancing at the table. So it's like it goes from these moments of wow, this is going to be a challenge, to wow, this is such a success. And then I still continue to see some of my I have an elderly man that came to me back around through the pandemic, and the inflammation that was created around the virus and the infection in his body at the time made it to where he couldn't walk, and now he's playing rounds of golf. So there's so much benefit in navigating dietary challenges that I don't want you to see it as a challenge, but let's focus on the benefit. Now, what's holding you back? Comment below or put in the chat of the Zoom, what is holding you back? What demands on your schedule are creating these just challenges around nutrition? Because we do live a very, very fast-paced life. Let me look and see what I have in the chat. Looks like I have a hand raised. I want to see. Yes, we've got lots of challenges. Okay, we've got families, we've got children. We have things that are just making it hard for us to focus on moving forward. We've got limited time. Okay, we're juggling between work, chores, taking care of the children, meal planning and preparation, what's convenient versus what's nutritious, right? Like, what can we grab convenient but also have as a nutritious option? Maybe we have picky eaters in our home, like, Lord have mercy. It's all in, we have to start young. And I'm going to tell you moms that have young children at home, or grandparents that have young grandchildren, start now. Okay, start now. The more you can get kids involved, the better. All right, so think back to your 2-year-old drawing this picture, and the first time they colored, and it was all over the place. It was like so many colors on top of colors that it actually turned to brown, and it was just a hot mess. It was outside of the lines. It was not good at all. But the child came home and it was a masterpiece, right? They bring it home from school and it's like, look what I did, right? It is a masterpiece. Your children are going to feel the same way if you get them involved in cooking and preparing nutritious meals. Even if it does not taste good, it is a masterpiece they created, and they are more apt to eat it if they are involved. Okay, so I encourage you, get your children involved. It also only takes 2 weeks for our taste buds to regenerate. So if they don't like something right now, we are going to taste it every day for 2 weeks to develop that taste bud. That taste bud may be dead because they've never eaten broccoli, or because they've always had a negative connotation around broccoli, that their brain is signaling that negativity when broccoli hits the tongue. Let's talk in a positive manner every single time they taste it. Every single time you taste it, think about how good this is going to serve your body. Let's serve our body in a holistic way. So let's develop those taste buds. So we're balancing work and family. There's a lot of education out there, right? So nutritious education. Somebody sees on Google, let's eat lectin-free. Somebody sees on Google, let's eat gluten-free. Somebody sees histamines as an issue. Somebody sees sulfites and sulfates and all this other stuff as an issue. There's so many daunting pieces of information that we don't even know what's conflicting, what's best for us. And I'm here you can read article after article after article, and I'm going to show you today how Even one piece of eating gluten-free and celiac friendly can wreck your habits with mast cell. Okay, you can't even take these two pieces of information and say, I need 100% of this celiac information and I need 100% of this mast cell. They're going to conflict. I'm going to show you that today. Okay, and I'm going to show you why we have to look at how is your body feeling. I tell people all the time, look at your food, your mood, and your poop. All right. How is this making your body feel and respond when you eat a particular food? But I'm also going to bring you information around the two topics of eating to where you can effectively assess the emotions that your body has after eating. Okay, emotional eating is a really big thing when it comes to stress and exhaustion, and also stressful eating. So create a mealtime that is peaceful. Stop the battle. All right, because if we're eating under a stressful situation, our body's not going to absorb those nutrients. And it's not going to help our body when it comes to the micronutrient absorption. And then stop trying to adhere to all the social pressures around you. Okay, there is no perfection in my plan, none. Okay, I do not want someone to tell me. I have had one couple before, and if they're listening, they know themselves. I'm told them weeks into the plan, I said, your priority this weekend is to go eat out. Your priority this weekend is to go eat out. Number one, I want you to fail. I want you to feel what it is like to fail. Okay, because that wake-up call is huge. But I also want you to start navigating those challenges because you're going to go on vacation here in a couple of months. All right, we do not want that vacation to be the first time that you've eaten out and that you have navigated that challenge, because then you're going to feel like crap on your vacation. You're going to be stressed. Nobody wants that. Okay, so don't have this perfection of feeding your kids and yourself and everything just having to be status quo. We're going to look at meal prep. We're going to look at simplifying meals. Specifically tomorrow, we're going to look at simplifying meals on the go, because so many people have asked for that advice for quick and simple, like pickup items. On Saturday morning, we're actually going to meal plan, guys. I have got that huge bonus for you on Saturday morning. Please hang in there, because it is so encouraging for you to be able to walk away with some tangible meals. I want you to think about ways of engaging your family, even in a pizza night. And you just heard me. Yes, a pizza night. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, make it healthy. You can make pizza night as healthy as can be, and just let your kids know that eating healthy is not always peas and carrots. And I'm going to show you today where peas could actually be wrong. And somebody had commented in our group this week already that they don't eat carrots very well. So we want to focus on the nutrient absorption, and lastly, but not least, self-care. All right. That state of perfection can very easily overwhelm our bodies. And we have a problem with being able to have self-care and relaxation. Okay, so let's talk about food triggers and autoimmune flare-ups. Okay, so the importance of eating anti-inflammatory foods that include foods rich in antioxidants, omega-3, and nutrients that support the immune system. Okay, when we stop right there and look at foods that support the immune system, foods that are high in omega-3s, and foods that we can eat to support the immune system, the number one thing that comes to mind for me when we're looking for an antioxidant is berries. Okay, we can look across, and berries have those antioxidants that come in and help defend our body and support that immune system. Blueberries are amazing. Okay, strawberries are great. Raspberries, yes, and blackberries, yes. But I want to tell you, even in that line right there, strawberries can be a histamine flare for people. Okay. Have you ever gotten a rash on your hands? I hear that often about strawberries. People say, I always ate them, but I would get this rash on my hands. I didn't understand why. And they would get a rash after strawberries. So if you've ever had any skin flare up around eating a strawberry, then you may have a histamine reaction, even though they are high in antioxidants and they are good for an anti-inflammatory diet. So I want to help you pay attention to the good and the bad. And again, like yesterday, we spoke about having a risk management perspective around what you're putting in your mouth. What is helping you the most and what is providing risk? There is always a risk when I eat strawberries because I have a tendency to have a high histamine, or my histamine bucket can get high if I'm under stress. Okay. When I was going through and getting this functional nutrition certification, for instance, I was still managing my home. I was still managing the food. The stress load had gotten high. I was up till 3 a.m. some nights, just working through the course material. That was when it was quietest. But I noticed at that point, I started to get this really bad rash around my mouth. It started out looking like a fever blister and just spread and spread and spread. It was awful. I also would get, my chest would get really, really red. I would break out. I'd be really itchy. And noticed that I was breaking out with strawberries. I was breaking out with coffee, which I was using to stay awake. And I had eaten a raw spinach salad and had, which you think is healthy, right? I mean, so who's eating healthy food and you think it's healthy, but holy cow, it like has this reaction. So I had eaten a raw spinach salad and had the worst flare ever, right? I mean, like just itching, my face felt like it was itching off. So be careful because what's healthy for all may not be healthy for you. We are not putting ourselves in a box. We are finding the box that fits you. Okay. And it may only be a, Erica box. It may only be a Dana box. It may not be a box that we can all three fit in, but just your box. And that's why I work individually with people. I do not like to work and do meal plans and stuff like that in a big group because it's just like, gets really frustrating. Okay, so fatty fish. Let's talk about salmon, mackerel, sardines, trout, very high in omega-3s and can have really, really good anti-inflammatory effects. But there's people that I work with that cannot eat all the fish. We have to build up our tolerance to salmon. Now, I feel like we're pretty successful in doing so. Okay. So there's foods that if we need to just reintroduce to the body, we can. But leafy greens, I've already mentioned spinach and how that can have a high histamine load. But leafy greens such as spinach and kale and collard greens and Swiss chard, they're rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. They're rich in quercetin, which can actually help with gut health and help combat inflammation. Okay, so quercetin is also one of those supplements that we can use to counteract mast cell. So we would want to bring in those low histamine leafy greens to support mast cell. Then turmeric, I react to turmeric. I have some people who do as well, but it is a very powerful anti-inflammatory antioxidant property. And I'm going to stop right there because that is a supplement. And I want to tell you that supplements can have ingredients that cause your body to negatively react to those. I should probably try quercetin again. I'm just sitting here like kind of, or curcumin is what I meant, but turmeric and curcumin, I should probably try that again because when I was taking a supplement, it had citric acid in it. Citric acid derived from corn, and corn can be a cross-reactive factor with gluten. I'm going to give you those cross-reactive factors today. So I'm trying to go through this quickly. But with those, you want to be careful what the inactive ingredients are. I met with a mom on Friday whose son cannot eat corn. And I mentioned to her, I said, oh, well, we go get acetaminophen compounded. So basically, your ibuprofen compounded. And she's like, why do you get it compounded? I'm like, because there's corn in everything you get over the counter. If you are giving children a liquid medication, there's corn in it. If you're giving a prescription, there's corn in it. I mean, just about everything has corn in it as a binder or some type of liquid agent. So olive oil is anti-inflammatory. I want to mention that it's great when combating candida and bacteria. So go for it. Love olive oil. Tomatoes are a very good antioxidant that reduce inflammation and can lower the risk of chronic disease. But guys, tomato peel has lectin. If you do not have the enzymes right now to break down those lectins, it can cause havoc in your body. And tomatoes are very high in histamine. So be very careful when you have this fall time of year, maybe a pot of chili. It can be the worst thing that you put in your body because it has tomatoes and beans. And beans are one of those items that that are high in histamine. So ginger is a great anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. So is garlic. So is green tea. Again, green tea can be high in histamine. So if you are prone to mast cell reactions, then I want you to just see how important this personalized plan is, so you know what to remove. Dark chocolate is very rich in anti-inflammatory properties. So are whole grains. But when we talk about celiac, there are some warning signs against whole grains. Avocado provides healthy fats. I love avocados. That's why it's so important to reduce your histamine bucket, so you can eat these healthy fats and not have to avoid them, but get your body back to a state of stability so you can eat the healthy foods. Citrus fruits are wonderful. The oranges, the grapefruit, papaya, kiwi, very rich in vitamin C, as well as immune system boosters and anti-inflammatory properties. And then we've got some spices such as cinnamon and oregano and rosemary that are great. So they help break down the antioxidants in our body. They help our bodies fight free radicals. And the free radicals can kind of float around in the body and do damage to our bodies. So we want to go in and fight those as much as possible. Okay, so that allowed us to look at anti-inflammatory diet components, rich in antioxidants and omega-3s. But more importantly, or not more importantly, I feel like there's more people here wanting to look at kind of that gluten-free food options and why gluten-free does not always respond positively, because a lot of gluten-free items that you find in the supermarket today are very processed. And they have those hidden ingredients that can cause other flares in our body, and then we just don't understand why. So there are consequences around those foods, because they cause intestinal damage. When we get, there's a lady I spoke with this morning with leaky gut. When we have leaky gut and those particles are leaking out into our bloodstream, whether they're gluten-free, whether they're dairy-free, it doesn't matter. The immune system can come in and cause an attack mechanism and create an inflammatory response against those foods. So we want to make sure that we are not causing cross-contamination with celiac foods. So let's talk about those for a second. Cross-reactive foods with a gluten sensitivity or celiac can make it to where we're like scrambling and trying to understand this entire immune system identification issue. Okay, because our immune system, like I said, continues to respond, and those proteins responsible for that cross reaction in the body are a molecular mimicry in our body. So I wanted to say, like, I am not a heavy advocate of wheat irregardless of you being gluten intolerant, having a gluten sensitivity or not. I'm going to tell you why. Wheat has a protein that molecularly mimics the protein that our thyroid makes. The more wheat you eat, the less responsive your thyroid is going to be, and therefore the less it's going to support your energy levels, your hormone levels. It's just like, ew. Okay, so let's look at what foods structurally resemble the gluten protein. So no surprise here, but casein from the protein of dairy products can cross-react with gluten. This is why so many times you hear people say, I had to go dairy-free and gluten-free. But I test for that. That is one thing that I do test for. So you're not left wondering, is that my situation? Okay, I test for the casein. I test for all the different dairy components individually, even whey and the beta-lactoglobulin, the protein in the whey, to say, okay, where are we reacting? The same thing with a lady I spoke with this morning with egg. We want to look at egg white and egg yolk. Where is the reaction occurring? That way we know when we bring foods back, where we can put our priority, like what foods we can bring back first. Millet. Okay, a lot of times millet has it is a gluten-free grain, but it may trigger cross-reactivity in people with a gluten sensitivity because of its protein. And here's one that I want to warn a lot of people that go gluten-free eat rice a lot, okay? And rice is generally considered gluten-free. I don't know where it's, if it's been processed in a plant with gluten, but some individuals with gluten sensitivity can experience that cross-reactive factor with a rice protein. Now, there's a lot of studies out there with white rice, brown rice, the hulls of brown rice being hard on our digestive system. We can actually roast rice, so putting it in a pan with oil or ghee, some type of fatty substance, and saute it the same way we would do an old box of like rice-a-roni. Who knew we were doing something good when we had that box of rice-a-roni? But you can saute it, you can break down that rice to where the body can process it better, even soaking the rice. There's many different ways that you can do that. Corn proteins, particularly the cornzine, mimics gluten and leads to cross-reactive in some people. Okay, so if you've been someone who has had a gluten sensitivity or diagnosed with celiac, and you're going, I removed gluten, but nothing worked, where are we hitting those pain points for you? What is a substitute that you've been continuing to eat that may have that cross-reactive factor? I've got a few more that I want to address here. Oats. I have a lot of people ask me all the time, very, very, very common question. What about oatmeal? Can I eat oatmeal for breakfast? And it all depends, right? So oats themselves do not contain gluten. You can very easily get even a certified gluten-free oat, but during the processing part, a lot of times they're contaminated with gluten. If it's certified gluten-free, then obviously not. But some individuals with gluten sensitivity also react to a protein in oats. Now, another thing with oats, because I love moving from the inflammatory state of our body into absorption after detoxification, into balancing hormones, is that during that process, we really have to be focused on blood sugar balancing. And if your blood sugar is not balanced, with the appropriate amounts of protein, then oats can cause our blood sugar to spike. If you've eaten oatmeal and been tired, within that next hour, I'm like, gosh, I could just go to bed. You are sensitive to oats, and just simply because of the blood sugar balancing, it's probably not something you should be eating. It's not serving your body well. Potatoes, the potato protein can cause a cross-reaction and can cause you to have a heightened immune response. Soy proteins have structural similarities to gluten and can potentially trigger cross reaction. Now, I will tell you that I have seen a stronger reaction to soy than I even have wheat and gluten. And I'm going to talk about glyphosate next, which is a spray. It's basically Roundup that is sprayed on all of our food. And a lot of these foods that I'm talking about here with a cross reaction are also those foods that absorb, they're the crops that absorb glyphosate. So, this goes back to, there's just a lot of information. Don't try and answer every single question, but let the knowledge tell you that glyphosate is not good for your body either. And it can be even the evil culprit, when we're looking at corn, when we're looking at soy, when we're looking at wheat. The last thing is amaranth. I just don't want to miss that, because a lot of people have a cross-reactive factor with amaranth, which is the grain. And it is a gluten-free grain, but has protein that resembles that of gluten. Okay, so glyphosate, again, is that herbicide commonly used, and it's found as a residue on many, many crops that we eat. Okay, and this kind of goes back to what caused our bodies to become so inflamed and so sensitive to gluten. What created this immune mast cell response? What was the overload that caused our body to turn into a negative direction? And a lot of times it's the food we're eating, guys. The standard American diet is just causing havoc on our bodies. So crops like wheat, oats, barley, and corn, as well as soy, soybeans, peas, are very heavily sprayed with glyphosate. Processed foods that contain ingredients with those items still have glyphosate residue. Breakfast cereals, legumes, oats. When we talk about legumes, we're talking about soybeans. We're talking about dried beans and their pulses, such as lentils and chickpeas. They can have a lot of glyphosate residue left on them. So if you have a reaction to a lentil, to a bean, to a chickpea, start to question two things. Is it the lectin, or is it the glyphosate that is on this food? It can really help you navigate, where do I turn next? It's almost like a flow chart, right? If it's the lectin, then there's an enzyme that we can focus on with all lectin foods. If it's glyphosate, then your body has been overly exposed to glyphosate, which most of us have been, and we need those organic products and organic produce to help us navigate this glyphosate influx that's in our standard American diet. Unfortunately, we've just really, the standard that's considered safe is not serving us well. It's not responding very well or safe to our bodies. So how does this respond? How does this take us back to mast cell? Well, throughout today's conversation, you heard me talk about and highlight those histamine-rich foods and additives. So the histamine-rich foods can cause inflammation in the body, which worsens symptoms of autoimmune conditions and celiac disease. So it can just bring us to this heightened level of reactivity. So just like a bee sting comes in and the area gets inflamed so the immune system can come in and work, if that's happening all over your body, then you wonder why you're holding on to unnecessary weight, why you're holding on to, and continuing to have these dietary triggers, even though you've removed the top culprits. There can still be underlying additives that are coming in and triggering your body. So there can be, dietary needs that overlap with autoimmune conditions, celiac conditions, and mast cell. it is very important for you to reduce the amount of processed foods that you eat, reduce the artificial additives, reduce inflammatory ingredients, and get down to real food so you can see how real food is serving your body. Now, the way that we like really catapult this is by doing some food testing, some inflammatory testing on your body. If that is not something that you have previously done, I encourage you to hop on a call with me immediately. Let's get that test kit in the mail to you so you can test your body and know exactly where to start. Now, this is not just around food, but we take this information and we like take it deeper. What do you need to avoid in your supplements? A lot of times there are sugar additives in our supplements that we need to avoid. And, you know, and I mentioned corn, you know, that's in everything. So like if you're taking you're on an anti-inflammatory diet, you have a response, and then you go in and you take regular Benadryl, it has corn, I'm telling you, because we have to get ours compounded. So it's just the active ingredient. And if corn is a cross-reactive factor to your trigger, you're just continuing to feed that response. It's so hard. And that's why I'm here to help you, because I know it's hard. I've been down that road of thinking it is crazy, but I've also been down the road of going places and getting like tons of supplements and nobody ever talking about food. And I'm here to tell you, you cannot out supplement your nutrition. If you continue to put food in your mouth, if you continue to put supplements in your mouth that are triggering your inflammatory response, you're not going to win this battle. Okay. So I'm here to show you how to take those away, get fast results, heal the body, and then come back in and be able to reintroduce those foods. So the personalized dietary approach is extremely necessary when we're looking at allergies, when we're looking at our immune system, when we're looking at nutrition, and guiding those conditions around all of it. If you have questions, put them below. I've gone a few minutes over, so I'm not going to continue to discuss that, but I do want to tell you that tomorrow we are going to navigate these challenges. I am one that feels like you need the information of why first. Like, why should we even care? What is this lady talking about with cross-reactive factors? Now you have a little bit more information. Go into the group. Take action on the activities that are around this workshop so you can start taking note of what you're currently eating. Did we touch on some things today that you're currently eating that could be a cross-reactive factor in your healing process? Then tomorrow we're going to talk about the meals, fast and convenient solutions. That has been the #1 request in this group. And we're going to continue to talk about areas of nutrition that we need to support the body. And then we will continue down this route all week to give you those actionable steps for healing, but while in this busy mom schedule, because it is a complete reality that that we, you know, just have these challenges and that we're trying to navigate them and do the best that we can, not only for ourselves, but for our entire family. Thank you for tuning in. It's so wonderful to have you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Wednesday's workshop is at 4:30 p.m. I will make a post specifically in the group to that to remind you that it'll be at 4:30 tomorrow. See you then, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.